News was brought
Coming up on News 2, many complaints from residents and motorists who need to traverse through the Brookman Road area as they encounter road closure signs at both ends, making almost the entire stretch of road off limits from both directions. Also, police on St. Croix are requesting the community's assistance in locating a 47-year-old woman reported missing by her family. We'll have more. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, motorists are suffering from the closure of a major St. Thomas thoroughfare. Those trying to use Brookman Road will encounter road closure signs at both ends, making almost the entire stretch of road off limits from both directions. How does the road look exactly, and why are businesses alarmed by the ongoing repairs? News 2's April Knight has that story.
Brookman Road has been a bumpy, pothole-ridden bane on St. Thomas motorists, but the long-awaited repair that was supposed to be only a minor inconvenience is wreaking havoc.
This is what Brookman Road looks like at the moment. As you can see behind me, the entire road is closed. We can see backhoes moving large volumes of soil and rock around. There is no foreman at the moment, we were told, to tell us exactly a detailed explanation of what they're doing, but from the looks of the damage on the road, there's a lot of work to be done.
Heavy rains collapsed an entire section of the road, undoing the progress made by construction crews. Earlier, the road became one lane because of repairs, but now it's a completely impassable heap of construction. But even when the road was still one lane, it was already crippling businesses caught in the closure.
Since they've closed the road, it has drastically decreased as far as our walk-in traffic. We used to have, anywhere from 20, 30 up to over 100 people walk in the door a day, and now we're down to about 15, maybe 20 on a good day. It's when they close one lane.
Now the complete closure of Brookman Road and at least 6 more months of construction work is causing businesses to seriously worry about the future.
We are extremely concerned about it. We are very concerned about having to make cuts. We're not at that point yet, but it's very nerve-wracking.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Now, the Department of Public Works is currently closed and officials could not be reached for comment. News 2 will keep you updated on the status of Brookman Road. Now, as a result of National Public Works Week, that's recognized from May 17th to 23rd, the Department of Public Works Commissioner Designee Gustav James reminds everyone that due to special activities planned for employees, Department of Public Works offices will be closed on St. Croix Friday, May 22nd. Now, offices were closed today, as we just mentioned, on St. Thomas and St. John. WAPA crews restored potable water to downtown Christiansted Tuesday night. Some of WAPA's Christiansted customers were without water all day after a water main broke around 9:20 that morning. While crews were making repairs, a second rupture occurred along the same water main, causing customers to be without water for several more hours. Crews removed a broken section of pipe and replaced it. Executive Director Hugo Hodge thanked the crew, who were short-staffed and worked overtime to complete those repairs. The Senate Committee of the Whole met Monday morning and discussed some coastal zone management permits. One of them would allow the Port Authority to dredge the Schooner Bay Channel in Gallows Bay. The other would allow for the structural repair of the existing concrete apron, the construction of a new sheet pile wall, and the removal of contaminated soil near the Christiansted Sven Olsen seaplane terminal. The committee was told that the Schooner Bay project was essential to revitalizing the marine industry in the Christiansted area and will allow small cruise vessels to berth in Gallows Bay. Both projects are expected to provide jobs for residents and improve port infrastructure. Senate President Neville James said he was excited to hear about the support for these projects that open up doors for St. Croix. Well, all this week, as we reported, emergency responders have been celebrating EMS Week. May 20th is recognized as EMS for Children's Day, and local paramedics spent the day talking to students about some of the things they do. News 2's Erica Parsons has the story.
Sandy, EMTs were hopping around from school to school today, making sure that students know just what they do as first responders. But children also have a role to play in their own safety, and the EMTs made sure they know just what that role is.
In this compartment is stuff for little people like yourself.
Every ambulance is equipped with an area to serve children since their emergency needs are different.
We have a separate section for children. They're smaller, they're unique, so we have equipment just for them.
Paramedics talked to the primary students at Eulalie Rivera Elementary and other schools Wednesday. Every Wednesday during the EMS Week recognition is designated as EMS for Children's Day, so paramedics spent the day talking about emergencies.
We tried to share with them about EMS, about how we deal with things, how we handle kids, how our ambulance is actually situated, and talk to the kids about, of course, calling 911.
You don't play around. Only in an emergency, you call 911, you give them your name, you give them your address, you tell them the emergency, and hopefully how to get to them.
Students learned how to use 911 for emergencies, but there were other lessons to be learned, lessons that could save their lives in the future.
Children are sponges, so we really stressed safety today. I told them under 13, they should be in the back seat belted.
This reinforces the issues that we have right now in the streets where kids are like jumping up in their seats, they're not seat belted in. As they get older, these habits that they're learning right now, the things they're learning, they're able to go a long way with it.
Some even learned what it means to be strapped in a stretcher.
They take good care of you.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
St. Croix paramedics also visited Clodomaco and Juanita Gardine schools. Similar visits were made to Ella F. Muller Elementary and E. Benjamin Oliver schools on St. Thomas and the Julia Sprouse School on St. John. In police reports, police on St. Croix are requesting the community's assistance in locating a woman reported missing by her family. Wanda Rivas, age 47, was last seen on Monday, May 18, 2015 in the vicinity of the ice cream shop located in the Sunny Isle Shopping Center at roughly 6:30 p.m. wearing a red, blue and white striped blouse with blue jeans. Ms. Rivas, a Hispanic woman, is 5'3" and weighs 130 pounds. Has black hair, brown eyes. Wanda Rivas is known to frequent Cool Runnings Bar, Frederickstead, Campo Rico, Walter I.M. Hodge Pavilion, Safarelli, Lagoon Street Complex, and Chris's Hideaway Bar. If you've seen Wanda Rivas, Detective Moses Francis urge you to call 340-712-6094, 712-6017, or 712-6026. Some sad news: a 14-year-old boy was killed in a traffic accident Tuesday. Police say the accident happened around 4:45 in the afternoon on Melvin Evans Highway, and the young man was riding a horse when he was hit. Police responding to the scene found the boy laying motionless, and EMTs pronounced him dead at the scene. The boy's name has not been released by police because he is a minor, but he was identified by his mother at the scene. Golden Grove detainee Kirk Jordan sustained puncture wounds to his right back, right thigh, and left elbow, and currently hospitalized in stable condition at Louis Hospital. The confirmation came from Acting Director of the Bureau of Corrections, Dwayne Benjamin Jr. Jordan is awaiting sentencing on charges of reckless endangerment. The alleged assailants, Angel Ilaraza and Jonathan Rivera, were placed in lockdown. Both detainees are awaiting sentencing on first-degree murder charges. The incident took place in Unit 9B at approximately 4:51 p.m. Friday afternoon, May 15th. After a search of the unit and cells, a homemade shank and cutting instrument were recovered. The investigations continue. On Sunday, May 17th at 4:59 a.m., an officer on routine patrol observed a man discharging gunfire into the air at the intersection of Conprincess and General Gata. At that moment, patrons and employees of Club 75 began to run back upstairs into the club. Officers approached the suspect and searched him but found no weapon. After a search of the surrounding area, a handgun was discovered, which the suspect admitted belonged to him. After a witness positively ID'd him as the person having fired shots into the air. He was later identified as Miguel Alejandro Rosario of Estate Contant and charged with possession of an unlicensed firearm. Bail was set at $85,000. Nearly 20 people have died this year because of violence, and Senator Myron Jackson says enough is enough. In a statement released Tuesday, the senator called on local leaders to provide an action plan to protect residents. He decried the recent shooting incident on the Christiansted boardwalk over the weekend that left one man dead and 4 others wounded. Jackson is calling for a full investigation by officials from the police, licensing and consumer affairs, tourism, the Public Finance Authority, and the governor's office. Jackson said too many of our children's blood are running in the streets, and he's urging the entire community to stand up to put an end to the violence plaguing the territory. Turning our attention overseas, an advocacy group for rape victims released a disturbing new report surrounding untested rape kits. In 5 cities alone, some 9,000 of these kits are sitting in evidence rooms while the victims wait. Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee is taking a closer look at the problem in an effort to end the backlog. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. According to the National Center for Victims of Crime, advocates and victims want lawmakers to put money behind an actual counting of untested kits, along with better training for crime lab technicians. Keeping our eye on the economy, here's the New York Stock Exchange with our Stock Market Watch. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P. There we go. The Dow down at 26, NASDAQ up at 1, S&P also down at 1. Coming up on News 2, much more straight ahead, Memorial Day parade events. That information is coming up. We'll be right back. The Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs notifies all business licensees of their continuing obligation to timely renew their business licenses on an annual basis. Commissioner Devin Carrington expressed alarm at the amount of licensees that fail to renew their license in a timely manner. A recent audit of delinquent business licenses has revealed that over the past 5 years, or from 2010, the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs is owed approximately $8.5 million in license renewal fees and late fees. All businesses licensed to operate in the VI do so after procuring an annual license from the agency. Clearly stated on each license is language indicating the start date and expiration date of the license pursuant to department rules and regulations. You can call them for more information. As the nation prepares to memorialize the service and sacrifices of America's military service members, Virgin Islands delegate to Congress Stacey Plaskett introduced legislation in the U.S. House of Representatives to encourage small business employers around the country to hire veterans who have served in the National Guard and Ready Reserve. It's called the Hire a Hero Act, and women of the National Guard who continue to selflessly sacrifice in defense of the homeland, whether it's here at home or on distant shores, are recognized. Plaskett said that although the veteran unemployment rate has dropped to its lowest level since 2008, the unemployment rate for post-9/11 veterans, the group most affected by joblessness, remains higher than the national average. On May 25, 2015, mark this on your calendar, the Office of Veterans Affairs, American Legion, Survivor Outreach Services, and the VA Vet Center have partnered to commemorate all veterans who have paid the ultimate sacrifice and honor those who are still serving our country faithfully, loyally, and with honor. Now, following the custom, there will be commemoration activities on all 3 islands on that day. And these are the times and locations for the commemorations. On May 25th, Memorial Day March in Fredericton, St. Croix from 9:30 a.m. And then Charlotte Amalie, St. Thomas, May 25th, 9:30 a.m. Memorial Day Motorcade and Ceremony in Cruz Bay, St. John as well. Now in St. Croix, the procession will start at the post office in Fredericton and proceed to the Fredericton Cemetery for the graveside ceremony, then on to the Fredericton waterfront adjacent to the Vern Richards Veterans Memorial Park for the seaside service. The official commemoration ceremony will be held at the Vern Richards Veterans Memorial Park immediately after. On St. Thomas, it starts with a graveside ceremony at the entrance of the Western Cemetery number 1. After the graveside ceremony, the procession will start via police escort from the Western Cemetery and proceed to the Emil White bust on the waterfront for the seaside ceremony. And after the seaside ceremony, it will proceed to the Franklin D. Roosevelt Veterans Park via Main Street. The official commemoration ceremony will be held at the Franklin Roosevelt Veterans Park. Now in St. John, they will assemble at 9:30 a.m. at the Cruz Bay Public Cemetery. At 10 a.m., the motorcade will proceed to the Bethany Moravian Cemetery for a short ceremony, and at 10:30, they will proceed to the Calabash Boom Cemetery for the short ceremony. At 11:30, they will proceed to the EMS Moravian Cemetery for a ceremony, and then at 12, it's at the Coral Bay Dock for a seaside ceremony. Finally, at 3, official ceremony at the Vigo Sewer American Legion Post number 131, headquarters located in Coral Bay. Acting Executive Director David Mapp announced that the passenger elevator at the Cyril E. King Airport Terminal is being replaced and will be closed to the public for a month, and that the freight elevator could be used to access the second floor of the terminal. Mapp wishes to clarify that the freight elevator will only be available for meeting the Americans with Disabilities Act requirements. He asks that the general public utilize the stairs in the terminal to access the second floor while the new elevator is being installed. Mapp also apologized to the public for the temporary inconvenience. For assistance or special circumstances, the public may contact the airport's manager's office. That's at 340-774-5100. Schneider Regional Medical Center recently received the Above and Beyond Award, and that's in recognition of its exemplary support of the National Guard and Reserve member employees. Now, during an Employer Awards and Recognition dinner, which was held on May 16th, the award recognizes employers who have gone beyond the legal requirements of the Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act by providing their Guard and Reserve employees additional non-mandated benefits. Schneider Regional Medical Center Chief Executive Officer Dr. Bernard Wheatley said he is grateful to those employees who serve both the Virgin Islands community and the country. He says we support them 100%. The Schneider Regional Medical Center was also named as the 2015 Secretary of Defense Employer Freedom Award semifinalist. Some 200 seniors on St. Thomas were in for a treat Tuesday afternoon. They enjoyed an early movie showing at Caribbean Cinemas and also received some goodies from Walgreens. Human Services organized the event, and former Senator Celestino White chipped in, but it was Senator Jeanette Millen-Young who began and sponsored Seniors Move Day, and she was there to show support.
You want to do what they want, and what they wanted was for more socialization and going to the movies. So we said, you know, nice. They feel that people care about them. We reach out and do something that's fun.
Mall Cop 2. So I think that's a very good movie where it has a lot of comedy, a lot of laughter, and sometimes we just need to let our head down and let the seniors enjoy a day that they don't get to do on a regular day.
And congratulations to all the seniors. Of course, it's in recognition of Older American Month. Well, tourism recognition events continue as well. May 2nd, coming up, the cultural extravaganza at the Franklin Powell Park on St. John. The event features DJ Lance Bradway, storytelling by Delroy, Anthony, face painting, a traditional breakfast tasting, and local artisans. Now on May 30th, a cultural extravaganza will also be held at Tutu Park Mall on St. Thomas with cooking demonstrations from the students at the Raphael Wheatley Skills Center and Chef Taj's local sushi rolls. You can learn brew making with master craftsman Justin Todman and enjoy entertainment by DJ Keg, Ala F. Mulla Fanatics, Sebastian Majorette's Pressure Bus Pipe, Kenya Eugene, Flip Switch, and the Dancing Flowers Studio. There will also be a Children's Corner and Crafts Center, and that's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they would like to thank everyone who came out to assist with the roadside cleanups. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.